Yo, what's up guys, it's Mojo here, and today I'm starting a new series called DBD Debunk, where I debunk whether or not certain perks or certain perk builds are good and whether or not you guys should use them. So the way this will usually go is that I will tell you guys which perk we'll be debunking. I'll play 1 or 2 games and share my personal feelings about the perk, and then I'll have like a pros and cons list and then share the final verdict. With that being said, on today's episode we are going to be debunking Windows of Opportunity. Windows of Opportunity is a teachable for K Denson. It unlocks potential in one's aura reading ability, or as the pallets, breakable walls, and vault locations are revealed to you when within 20-meter range. Windows of Opportunity has a cooldown of 30, 25, and 20 seconds when vaulting or dropping a pallet during a chase. Now with all that being said, let's get on to the video. Okay, we got the Pale Rose. I feel like I get this map so much. And finally, we have one game without Mia's pink hair bug. Okay, but yeah, so let me go find a gen first and I'll explain. So yeah, oh, this gen is bugged. The reason I like this perk so much is because it gives you a lot of information that you need. I feel like a lot of decent players badmouth this perk and say that this perk is only for newer players that need to learn like pallet spawns or vault spawns. Yes, that may be true, but I disagree with that. Only new players need this perk. The reason I like this perk so much and I feel it's underrated is because of how much information it actually gives you. The top thing, or like the number one thing that's best about this perk is it lets you know whether you're going into a dead zone or not. I'd say over here, I would think this pallet would spawn right here, because I know this is the Pale Rose map. I play this map all the time. But coming from this angle, I have no idea whether or not there's a pallet there. But with Windows, it lets me know that there's a pallet here, and that I'm safe to loop this sort of thing. But without Windows, I would just go down, or if I was injured, I would just go down, thinking that there was a pallet here. Oh, and it's a ghost face. But yeah, that's like one of the main reasons I like this perk. And I also like it because it gives you an idea of how much distance you have until you get to the next pallet or the next vault, which is very useful information, I would have to say. But yeah, I personally like the perk. I have no way in saying it needs to be meta or it's one of the best perks in the game when it's obviously not. But I think it's a really useful perk and it's really underrated. Like look at this. There's so much blocking my vision that I have no idea where the vault or the pallet's gonna be. But with Windows, it lets me see exactly where they're gonna be. Let me go find another gen. I'm gonna try to get Chase and show you why it's so good in Chase as well. Oh, nice DS. The protection hit. Okay, I got hit through that. But something that's also useful that I just thought of is, let's say a window blocks, like when you're looping Shack or something like that, and you block a window. Where are you gonna go when you run out of uses? You have no idea where to go, and you're probably gonna get down. However, with Windows, it lets you see an idea of how far you need to go to get to your next loop. Nice, I get adrenaline here. Nice, 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 nice. Alright, let's open the chest real quick and we'll get out. But yeah, GG now, I guess. So now I'm going to move on to the pros and cons part of this video, and I guess I can start off with the cons of this perk. The biggest problem I have with this perk isn't even that big, however it can be annoying sometimes, and that is the 20-meter range. The 20-meter range I feel is good enough when you are in a place full of pallets. However, when in a dead zone, the perk really doesn't see much use, especially when in a chase. The whole reason you would bring this perk is to find more opportunities to loot the killer. This perk excels at dead zone prevention, however, getting out of a dead zone with no pallets and 20 meters is kind of a weaker point of this perk. However, you could make the argument that making the range over 20 may give you some useless information because you're not going to make it to that pallet, but either way you will probably not get much use out of this perk in a 20 meter plus dead zone. Another small problem with this perk is the cooldown time. The cooldown for this perk at tier 1 is 30 seconds, which doesn't seem that long until you're in a chase. The main strength of this perk is the information it gives you when you're in a chase. However, if it is on cooldown a majority of the time, the perk sees maybe 1 or 2 uses depending on how long you loot the killer. However, this doesn't become as much of a problem the more you level up this perk. The last thing that I feel is bad about this perk is it can be easily countered by perks and add-ons. Some examples of this are Hex the Third Seal, the Pig's Face Mask add-on, and the Legion Smiley Face Pin add-on. All of these perks and add-ons induce a blindness status effect, which prevents you from seeing auras which deactivates a perk. However, there aren't a lot of perks or add-ons that cause the blindness status effect, so you only have to worry about this problem once in a while. Now moving on to the pros about this perk. Like I mentioned before, this perk excels at dead zone prevention. Because of all the pallet locations that you will know exactly where and where not to run. If you see there are no pallets in one direction, you are obviously not going to go that way and you will save yourself from going into a dead zone. The second thing I love about this perk is the information it gives you on how far away you are from a pallet or window. Since you actually see the aura of the pallet, you could look at the killer and estimate whether or not you will be able to make it to a specific pallet and or if you need to take a different route. The final thing that's great about this perk is that it gives you the ability to plan your escape while doing an objective. Let's just say that you're doing a gen and the killer is on his or her way. Normally you would just run and try to find the nearest pallet or vault. However, with Windows, you can compare your options and see the most optimal pallet or vault that you should run to. So is this perk good or bad, and would I recommend it? In my personal opinion, this perk is pretty good. I'm going to be honest and say I had low expectations of what I was going to learn from this perk, because I'm guilty of thinking this perk was only for newer players and it was just okay. But after playing with it for a while, I actually realized how good it is. Even when I'm not recording, I use this perk in my main build sometimes. This perk gives you a lot of useful information, even if you have memorized the map and know where all the pallets are. I would totally recommend this perk, and I feel that a lot of people would benefit from it. In my personal tier list, this perk would go in the B+ or A tier. So I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to continue this series. There should be some videos coming in the near future, maybe like another 2 or 3 days. But yeah, please like and subscribe, it helps a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one.